The flight that never landed, MH370. The night was calm. The sky above Southeast Asia stretched like a silent ocean of stars, and beneath it, Flight MH370 cut through the darkness, 239 lives carried in a silver vessel bound for Beijing. At 12:42 a.m., it left Kuala Lumpur without incident. 40 minutes later, it simply vanished. No distress call, no beacon. Only silence. In the hours that followed, radars told a story stranger than fiction, a turn, a veer off course, a ghostly journey into the vast unknown. And then, nothing. No wreckage in the sea where it should have fallen, no signal to lead the searchers. Just questions, endless questions. Tonight, we retrace the steps of a flight that defied logic, evaded the eyes of the world, and became one of the greatest mystery in modern aviation. In the early hours of Saturday, March 8, 2014, Flight 370 prepared for a routine journey, scheduled to depart Kuala Lumpur and arrive in Beijing. It was just one of 2 daily flights on this route, carrying 239 souls and over 14 tons of cargo. The clock struck 0:42 local time when the plane lifted off into the night, climbing steadily toward its first waypoint, Igari. The crew exchanged routine communications with air traffic control, their voices calm and untroubled. But shortly after reaching cruising altitude, the ordinary began to unravel. At 1:06, the last automated message blinked in from the aircraft systems, a faint signal carrying numbers and fuel readings, then silence. The plane's transponder blinked off, and Flight 370 vanished from secondary radar screens as if swallowed whole by the night sky. Military radar caught glimpses of the aircraft's strange, ghostly path. It veered sharply westward, then southwest, retracing its steps over the Malay Peninsula before disappearing again into the vast darkness. All conventional tracking systems failed. A log-on request flickered briefly across a satellite channel hours later, as if the plane tried to whisper that it was still out there, but no answers came. Air traffic control searched desperately, exchanging frantic queries as time ticked by. A pilot on a nearby flight heard only muffled static when attempting to hail Flight 370 on the emergency frequency. Somewhere beyond the reach of normal sight, the plane had become a phantom. Officially, it is believed Flight 370 ran out of fuel and plunged into the remote southern Indian Ocean, but when, where, and how remained secrets locked beneath the waves. Sightings, strange noises, and unconfirmed reports surfaced in the days that followed, fueling speculation and deepening the mystery. Flight 370's disappearance was no mere accident. It was a puzzle that confounded experts, baffled nations, and captured the world's imagination. As soon as Flight 370 vanished without a trace, a massive search and rescue operation was unleashed across Southeast Asia, but the trail quickly went cold. Days later, new satellite data whispered a chilling possibility. The plane had flown far beyond where anyone expected, into the remote, merciless expanse of the southern Indian Ocean. What followed was a colossal hunt. 19 ships and hundreds of aircraft scoured over 4.5 million square kilometers. An area so vast and hostile it felt like searching for a ghost in an endless watery desert. The search shifted again and again, chasing faint echoes from satellites and elusive pings from the ocean depths. An Australian-led joint agency coordinated the effort, working alongside Malaysia and China, but despite millions of dollars spent and countless hours endured, only scattered debris washed ashore thousands of miles away, offering grim hints but no definitive answers. In 2018, a private exploration company took up the mantle, deploying autonomous underwater vehicles across a newly defined 25,000 square kilometer mystery zone. Weeks passed as the deep-sea vessels mapped the unyielding ocean floor, yet the secrets of Flight 370 remained buried beneath the waves. Years later, whispers of possible new evidence stirred hope, and plans were made to dive once more into the abyss. But the ocean keeps its secrets well, hiding the final resting place of a plane and its passengers lost in the vast silence. Theories on the plane's final hours are as numerous as they are unsettling, each one a thread in a tangled web of unanswered questions. Speculated causes of disappearance. 1. The haunting possibility of a pilot's intent. A dark shadow has long been cast over the cockpit. While Malaysian police initially found no significant financial or behavioral changes in the pilots, whispers from the highest levels of the Malaysian government, as revealed by former Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott, suggest that from the very beginning, they harbored a chilling suspicion. A murder-suicide orchestrated by the pilot. This theory posits that someone within the cockpit reprogrammed the aircraft's autopilot to take a desolate journey into the southern Indian Ocean. Retired engineers and pilots, armed with detailed analyses, continue to champion this grim hypothesis. The flight simulator's dark secret. The most damning clue may have been a ghost in the machine. A confidential police document, unearthed by New York Magazine, revealed that an FBI analysis of Captain Zahari's home flight simulator found a simulated flight path that mirrored the very trajectory MH370 is believed to have taken. This revelation, which the magazine claimed had been suppressed from public reports, served as a powerful and deeply disturbing piece of evidence suggesting a premeditated act. While the Malaysian government confirmed the existence of the simulation, they dismissed it as nothing sinister, a denial that only deepened the mystery surrounding the withheld information. A deliberate act of disappearance. At some point, the aircraft's systems fell silent. The final report on the disappearance noted that the loss of communication was likely due to the systems being manually turned off or power interrupted to them. Prime Minister Najib Razak was unequivocal. The transponders and data systems were deliberately deactivated by someone intent on hiding the plane's position and heading. The plane, a ghost on the radar, briefly came back to life when its satellite data unit rebooted itself, sending a cryptic log on request before vanishing into the night. 2. Passenger involvement. In the immediate aftermath, the passengers themselves were scrutinized. A flight engineer was briefly eyed as a potential hijacker. The discovery that 2 men had boarded with stolen passports initially sparked fears of a terrorist attack. However, this lead quickly went cold when the men were identified as Iranian asylum seekers, and Interpol concluded it was likely not a terror incident. The Chinese government, after a thorough investigation, also cleared its citizens of any involvement. 3. The perilous cargo. Even the cargo holds of the aircraft held a potential key to the puzzle. Of the 10,806 kilograms of cargo, 2 items were of particular interest: a shipment of mangosteens and a substantial consignment of lithium-ion batteries. The batteries, a known fire hazard that had caused intense blazes on other flights, were packaged according to guidelines but were not subject to additional inspections. Investigators questioned whether a catastrophic fire in the cargo hold could have been the catalyst for the plane's ultimate fate. 4. A silent, unresponsive crew. Another chilling theory suggests the aircraft flew on, a silent and unpiloted vessel, for hours. An analysis by the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, ATSB, concluded that an unresponsive crew or hypoxia event was the theory that best fit the available evidence. This scenario paints a picture of a ghost flight, its occupants incapacitated, as it continued south on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. The analysis of a recovered flaperon, which showed the landing flaps were not extended, further supported the theory of a high-speed spiral dive, a violent end to a silent journey. Yet, even this theory lacks a full consensus among investigators, leaving the ultimate fate of the crew and passengers to speculation. The story of MH370 has no final chapter. It is a modern ghost story, a haunting question mark hanging in the skies. In an age of unprecedented surveillance and technological power, a modern airliner, with 239 souls aboard, simply vanished. It's a mystery that challenges our fundamental belief in a world we can understand and control. Was it the dark secret of a pilot, a final act of a tormented mind? Was it a chaotic accident, a silent struggle in the cockpit, leaving a ghost plane to fly to its end? Or was it a sinister flaw in our systems, a vulnerability we never knew existed? For the families of those on board, there is no closure, no final resting place. Their lives are suspended in a permanent state of limbo, a grief without a grave. Perhaps the most enduring mystery of all isn't just what happened to MH370, but why we are so obsessed with it. Because in a world where everything is supposed to be logged, tracked, and accounted for, the fate of Flight 370 is a silent reminder of the vast, terrifying unknown that still exists, just beyond the reach of our technology. And somewhere, in the unforgiving depths of the Indian Ocean, a final, unwritten chapter of a story waits to be told. If you enjoy our video, please subscribe and like. Thank you.